Rita Gangwani, nicknamed as Guru Cool by her students, is an inspiring Indian motivational speaker, author, pageant coach, etiquette consultant, actress, healer, and entrepreneur of international repute. Ranked very high amongst Indian motivational speakers, her seminars and workshops are well known for their high quality content, backed by her unique and entertaining style of delivery. She has been an expert as well as a jury for many prestigious national and international beauty pageants and contests. She has trained many aspiring models for beauty pageant contests, some of whom have gone on to represent India at various prestigious pageants and contests all over the world. For her exemplary work and commitment, she has been honored by prestigious decorations year after year. To name a few, Rajiv Gandhi Lifetime Achievement Award, Lord Baden Powell National Award, National Award by Journalists Association of India, Adi Abadi Award, Indian Icon, Women Role Model Award, Apar Seva Samman, Rashtriya Sanskar Bhushan, Jewel of India, Kesari Woman, Indian Shakhsiyat Award, PhD Premier Award, and many more. She is also designated as one of the top 10 thinkers of India by MTC Global. What is the role of a mentor in making of Miss India?
Well, the role of a model or a coach is extremely important in any field of life. Whether it is your professional life or even your personal life. There are so many life coaches also nowadays who help you to cope with the ups and downs of life. So specifically talking about being a mentor or a coach in a beauty pageant, it's that I have to play a lot of roles, First of all, I have to play a role of a mother, because there are so many things kids don't want to share with their parents, but they can share with me. So a role of a mother, a role of a cheerleader, a role of a teacher, a role of a mentor, a role of a supporter, a role of a sympathizer, a role of an empathizer, there are multiple roles. So you can say that a mentor is like a shadow to a pageant aspirant. And I personally try my best to hold the hands of my students and bring them out from the darkness to brightness of life. And believe me, it's not easy. It is definitely not easy. When people are going through ups and downs in life, it is very, very tough to make them understand and see the reality. So that's the challenge I face, because you see, when you go for a beauty pageant, there is only 1, 2 or 3 winners. So does that mean that the rest of the girls are not winners? But unfortunately, they take it to their heart. They feel that they are losers in life. They feel they are not beautiful. They feel worthless. So it becomes all the more important for a mentor to make them see reality, to make them understand, to teach them sportsmanship about life. So as I said, I try my best to help them improve their skills, help them to cope up with the difficulties they face, and motivate them to always stay positive in life. Yeah, so that's my role as a mentor to my students as a pageant coach.
Do you keep any criteria of accepting someone as your student, or is it open for all? Do you believe that anyone can become Miss India, or is there a need for some basic standards? Also, if someone is not eligible enough, how do you deal with them?
Frankly, other than the pageantry, that is the beauty pageants, my courses are open to everyone, to any height, any color, any shape, any caste, any culture. It just does not matter, because there you are attending a class to improve on yourself, to do your self-management. But as far as pageantry is concerned, there is a specific mold where you must fit into. So there are certain criteria you have to fulfill. And if you don't fill into that criteria, it is difficult for me to take you as a student, because there is no point teaching you and then letting you face the tune, knowing fully well that you are not going to get selected. So I'm one person who doesn't like to mix my words. I like to tell directly to the student that this particular thing is not specifically meant for them. Unfortunately, we are all different shapes and sizes, and that's what makes life beautiful. But everybody cannot fit into the mold of a beauty contestant. For a girl, now they have reduced the minimum height to 5'3", and for a boy the minimum height is 5'7", and of course you have to be, for a girl, in the age bracket of 18 to 25, and for boys it's 18 to 27. So it's the international standard where you have to see. Let me tell you the truth, for all those who are listening to me and you have all the aspirations of becoming a beauty queen or a king. It's very important to understand that when you become a local winner, state winner or a national winner, you have to go internationally to represent India. And when you are there, there are people from various countries, and most of them are much taller. Their basic height itself is much taller. So you are competing with a girl who's 5'9", or you're competing with a boy who's 6'3". And if you stand next to them, of course you are not going to stand out. And when you go there and you realize that, oh my God, I'm on the wrong platform, I'm competing with people who are 1,000 times different than me, that's when your self-esteem gets hurt. So it's very important to face the reality, to know the fact that beauty contest is not meant for everyone. Yes, there are many other beauty contests which happen locally, which may take you irrespective of your height, your shape, your size. They don't have a mold to fit you in. But if you want to go international, you have to fit into that mold to win any crown for India. Otherwise, for every age group and for every body shape and size, there are different pageants. You know, like we have teen pageants, we have pageants for plus size, we have pageants for transgenders, we have pageants for everything. But again, you have to remember that you have to fulfill the criteria according to international standard. Now you have asked me, how do I cope with those people who come to me and who don't fit into the mold? Very important to let them understand that pageantry is not the only thing you can get into the glamour world. So there is modeling. Now of course these people who are short at height or are different shaped cannot be walking runway ramp as a commercial model, so they have to walk as a specific model, maybe for plus size or maybe for petite people. Otherwise, modeling venues are open. You know, print modeling specifically is open to all shapes, sizes, age groups. You can try your luck there. You can try your luck in serials. You can try your luck in films, because out there height is not as much a criteria as it is in a pageant. So you have to know where exactly you belong. Besides the height and age, there are certain other criterias you must fulfill. You have to have good skin, you have to have good body, good fitness, you have to have good hair. If there are certain things which you can fix up, for example, if you have bad skin or if you have bad hair, or if you are slightly heavy weight-wise, then these are the things you can fix up and then try again. So I tell my students that once you think that now you have overcome all these weaknesses and then you are ready, then come back to me. But if there is a weakness which cannot be changed, for example your height or stuff like that, in that case I always reroute them to a different platform. Of course, it is very heart-wrenching to refuse a student because I understand how it feels. It hurts their self-esteem. But as a counselor, as a mentor, I see to it that I use the right words, the right language and the right means to show them the reality so that they accept themselves much more beautifully and positively.
The most common problem seen today is the inability to handle success. Can you provide any tips on this matter?
Well, unfortunately, we at the moment are dealing with the instant generation. You know, they want everything instant. instant noodles, instant coffee, Instagram, everything has to be instant. But unfortunately, kids have to understand that success cannot be instant. And even if you get an instant success, it is very difficult to maintain it. It's easy to find success, but it's very difficult to maintain it. Because once you have success, you become an influencer. And everybody is looking up to you. So you have to keep raising your bar. You have to keep improving and raising your benchmark every day. So it's very important for kids to understand that to find success, you have to take baby steps. You cannot just jump up. You have to take baby steps, because when you fall, you learn from your mistakes, and then you keep moving forward with experience. It helps you to maintain that success, to stay in that success, and to cherish that success because you have found it after so much of hard work. And very, very important, if you walk with your head in the clouds, you are definitely going to fall one day. So it's very important to look down. What I mean is that always be grateful to people who have helped you, people who held your hand when you were climbing the ladder of success. Never ever forget your roots. It is always good to remain humble, just like a tree laden with fruits, because when a tree has nice juicy fruits, it bends down its branches for people to break those fruits and enjoy that sweetness. So similarly, be humble so that people can enjoy being around you, they learn from you, they get inspired by you, and they take you as a role model. But if you walk around with your head in the clouds just like a dates tree and no one can reach you, then what is the point of having that success? Then you are success only for yourself, not for people. Because if you do not, whatever you are going to become, it will be all because of the people and well-wishers around you. If they withdraw their support, you're going to fall flat on your face. So always cherish, always respect, show gratitude, and be humble to people around you. It's a very, very important life lesson you have to understand.
Any suggestions for all the housewives and working women on how to carry themselves?
Women take a lot of roles in their lives, the roles of a mother, the role of a caregiver, the role of a provider, the role of a partner, the role of a housekeeper. So as women, we play multifaceted roles, and sometimes it becomes very difficult to look after your own self because we are giving out so much to everyone else. But always remember that you are the root of the tree, the family tree. And if the root becomes weak, if the root becomes sick, then the whole tree is going to come down. So always remember, as the root of the family, you have to always look after yourself, stay strong, because so many eyes are looking up to you. Your children, your family, your husband, everybody is looking up to you for a different role you are performing. And in case you are weak, then they become weak too. So it's important that first and foremost, from your daily life as a housewife, you need to take out some time for your own self. And first and foremost, a lot of women think being a housewife is something bad. I meet so many of them, when I ask them, what do you do? And they say, I'm a housewife. They have that embarrassment in their eyes. I wonder why. I think a housewife's role is the most important role, because you are playing a very important role in character building of the family. So it's very important you be proud. Just tell, when people ask you, are you a housewife, just very proudly say, you can call me a housewife, but as it is important to understand that I'm playing the most important role in anybody's life. You know, the role of a mother, the role of a wife, the role of a sister, the role of a daughter. And there are so many people who look up to you for that role. So never underestimate the role of a housewife. If you actually start paying a housewife, I think she would be the highest paid, I won't call it profession, but a highest paid profile of the world. So it's important that you be proud of being a housewife. But in the bargain, don't neglect yourself, whether it is your personal hygiene, whether it is your styling. Just because you are at home and you don't go out often doesn't mean that you stay shabby, you don't look after yourself. So many times you have to go to your husband's office party, to your children's school PTM, and and when you see the other women, sometimes you feel guilty that you don't have time, you cannot look after yourself because you have no time. Simple formula: if you don't have time, get up half an hour early and sleep half an hour late. So you have 1 hour with you for a me time. So in that me time, look after yourself, look after your body, look after your fitness, look after your meditation. Just de-stress, go out for a walk. That is your me time. Listen to music, take a nice bath, have a little candlelight dinner for your own self. Do something which makes you feel happy, because that's the fuel you want in your own self. And secondly, very important thing that, we are so much hooked on to social media or to television or to all these mediums and most of these mediums are showing you fictional stories on different serials. Those are all fictional stories. They are not reality, and we start living those dreams, living those stories. So best is to watch these, but do take out time to upgrade yourself. There are so many motivational videos available on YouTube. There are some wonderful books available. There are such wonderful podcasts available. Just take out some time, listen to them, watch them, and get inspired. You never know. One word from somebody can actually change your life. So it's very, very important for all the housewives that they do find time for their own selves and upgrade themselves, and most important, love themselves.
Depression is gradually spreading in our glamour and entertainment industry as well. So, experienced people like you need to play an important role on this matter. What is your viewpoint on this?
Yes, it's a major concern because people in the entertainment industry are under pressure all the time. They have to live up to the expectations of their image. So they struggle quietly. If there is any issue in their life, they struggle very, very quietly. They don't share. And the psychological cost they pay is very, very high. And often it goes unnoticed by the people, even the closest of family members, because they just don't talk about it. So it's very, very important that whatever you're going through in your life, whether it's a failure, whether it's a relationship breakdown, whether it's a professional problem, I think it's very, very important for people to walk their talk, because as a celebrity, you are influencing a lot of people. So if you open up, like you must have seen recently, Deepika Padukone had opened up about her depression story. And there are so many others who opened up after her because she dared to speak. So most of these celebrities, I think they have to walk their talk, because a lot of eyes are watching you, a lot of people are following you, and they get inspired when you talk about your weakness. They understand that you are human as anybody else. So you don't have to hide your pain behind your image. You have to talk it out. Just don't think that people are going to label you, because people who are going to label you themselves have gone through a lot in their lives, but they don't want to talk about it. So as a mentor, I see to it that when I come across somebody who I feel is going through some problem in their life, sometimes they don't talk, but you can sense it. As a human being, you can sense it. You can read in between the lines. So it's very, very important that if you feel that there is somebody around you who's going through that kind of problem in their life, so it's very, very important that you go up to them, start a conversation, very simple one. And because they're so full, sometimes when they get an empathetic ear, they start opening up. And when you become an active and a good listener, and listen to people without even interrupting, many a time you take a lot of load off their chest. So it's very, very important that if somebody is emotionally distressed or has made up their mind to commit suicide, tell them that you're there for them, and by being an active listener and by being aware of their signs of distress, you can actually help them. And I would very strongly tell everyone that we all have our weaknesses and our strengths. After all, we are human, we are not gods. So do not be scared about opening up with your problem, because when you open up and you talk it out, a lot of problems can be solved just by an open dialogue. So don't vent up those feelings, open up. And in case you see somebody who is going through that kind of a situation, do go out, help, and be there for them always.